Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for being on this webinar. We're going to begin right away, and we have really interesting content for you today. I hope you'll find some good value here. Definitely some good stuff on our webinar today, so it'll be worth your while. I'm excited to have with me our main speaker today, our expert on lead generation, who will tell us all about himself in a minute. I just want to let some more listeners log on and not miss the content. So just checking, are you there?
I'm here. I can hear you loud and clear.
Hi, excellent. Welcome. It's great to have you here. And we're going to start in just a minute. First, I wanted to, it's important to just make sure that you can all hear us. There are so many people here today, so I just wanted to make sure that you can all hear us. Let me know if there are any problems, and you can just write me a message in the message box at the bottom of the screen, and I'll be going over those throughout the webinar. So if there's anything, just let me know. Okay, I see right now everything seems okay. We can all hear each other, and just let me know if you're having any trouble with that. Okay, very nice. So I see a lot of people are here. That's very exciting. So thank you, first of all, everyone, for being here today. Actually, I see that we have people from around the world, and I'm interested to know where you're all from. So just write me in that message box where you're tuning in. Nice. Yeah, so we have many tuning in from the U.S., all different states here. We have New York, Florida, also a few from UK, Australia. Very, very nice. Okay. So great. So we really want to begin now. And again, I want to welcome you all to our webinar. And thank you for being here. Our topic today is lead generation. We will be going over the different stages of lead generation and really go into the importance and steps of each stage. So once again, our expert on lead generation will be going through everything step by step. And he will share with us the exact process that will get you to success with lead generation. So before we begin, I'd like to introduce you to our speaker. Would you like to tell us a little about yourself and how you got into lead generation and marketing?
Yes, lead generation is one of my specialities that I've actually been working with for what's been about 25 years. Me, myself, I've worked with some of the large organizations out there, that some of that you even know, some of the big brands. I got into lead generation from a client of mine, really, and it was more like a sort of request, so to speak. He was doing internet marketing way back when, before everybody used to got on sort of the so-called bandwagon. And I looked at it very carefully, and I said, wow, this is quite interesting. And as a sort of a techie sort of person, and sort of married it to understand how people say yes and why they say yes to what you've got to do. So, and then the lead generation thing sort of evolved from there. Learning some of the sort of the magical tricks that people how to persuade you to do things, and listen to some of the professionals like Zig Zigs and all these motivational speakers and how they do it and why they do it. So my sort of background has come from the old school days, and those who are also familiar with these sort of people from copywriting days will sort of sympathize with me, and sort of should actually resonate with me when I talk about lead generation.
Great, that's excellent. So let's start with what is lead generation?
Lead generation, I think, is a new term that's actually come around now, and it's really been a major shift in the market today, because generating leads itself is actually getting a customer. It's not the actual sale; it's actually just getting this acquisition between you and the actual customer itself. Can you get a person to actually do an action that may lead into a final sale? Now, you need to obviously get the targeted lead towards your business or service, and somehow do this in a way that is seamlessly. So businesses now, and small and large businesses, are now doing this lead generation way of things because they find it more cost effective. So this is what needs to be done today for the lead generation process, and it should be something that the business right now should be getting involved with. There are different types of models. That's something we will probably discuss in this summary. Really, cost per action, cost of 1,000, cost per click, cost per action. The list goes on and on and on. But they're all similarly the same. It's getting that person from where they are into what we call your funnel system, and that's what we'll be discussing in today's overview.
Could you explain a bit about those different terms that you were...
Okay, yes. The cost per 1,000, I mean, what will you do? You'll pay, for every 1,000 leads, you'll pay a set price. Say, if you take, for example, for every 1,000, I want to pay $3 US. So what it does, so every 1,000 people that come through the door, you'll pay $3 for these leads to come through the door. So, and this is just a pricing model that people choose to use. It could be from a call center. It could be something called pay-per-click. It's called PPC. You probably heard the term, Google uses this, but again, that's a model people use. There's cost per click, for also you could do for each individual particular action the person does. So you may want 100 people. You get charged for 100 people. Yeah. If it's 100 cents or if it's getting $100. So that's each individual person, not per 1,000. And there's also cost per action. Same situation. If an action is taking place, you'll get charged for the action itself. Again, most technical terms, but not to worry. We'll go through these sort of things a bit later in the actual preceding sessions.
Okay, excellent. And how much information is there about the effectiveness of lead generation?
There's quite a lot on the internet right now. Please don't get overwhelmed. There's so much information out there, and I must say there are some good case studies. And I will go back to one of the case studies taken from a famous place called HubSpot. They did some wonderful case studies about lead generation and why is it so effective today. I'm just going to take one from NEC, one of the large conversations, what they did using lead gen. They actually increased email open rates to over 400%. Now that's incredible. I mean, that is one of the main areas that we were all talking about in email marketing, how to really get the open rate of an email. Now that is sometimes difficult. So lead generation, you can see it's been used in the most powerful way just to get the starting point. And this information out there is very, very critical. There is some more to that. What they did, they achieved sales and marketing alignments with HubSpot and Salesforce integration. So what they've done here is using the lead generation basic steps and formulas to integrate with different systems. So the information out there, again, you should look at this and see why people are using lead gen. See what strategies you can get out there. Again, we will go over this in greater depths of different ways you can do this, different strategies, and how to get different types of services and what people are using right now for lead gen.
Now, I know our listeners are here from all different kinds of countries and also different businesses. Why do they need this? How can it help any type of business?
Well, it's good to say that from different countries because then you'll be able to see how people communicate, and this is one sort of global talk for lead generation. Now, why do they need to use this? It's a matter of speed, and we look at this and also demographics and understand people. It's the way how to really measure and really to understand how people do buy things. and how to speed up this process in the buying sales pattern. So, and if you could do this very, very quickly with a particular type of service or particular way, it can help grow your business. And this is what you're trying to do. Grow your business, getting people into your business, finding out what they do very, very quickly. Demographics, what we call sociographics, also what age groups, what are things people do. These are one of the steps also we was talking about when we talk about 7 P's in marketing. That this is, again, something that we're going to share. And why is it very, very sort of crucial to understand this? So this is the starting point of your business, and this is something is key you should be using today.
And how will this help our listeners against competitors?
Well, this gives you a real abundance of advantage here. Lead generation can really outrank your competitors. Some people are still in the archaic ways of doing things. And if you start to adopt this way of getting leads very, very quickly, your competitors will realize they're losing businesses. Your job in today's market is customer acquisition. How can you acquire a customers very, very quickly in the most effective way that your customers start to say, they have to think and look up. They will know over a probably period of time if they're actually monitoring their sales, if they're declining and they're seeing you as a business coming up on board. This is how you're going to win the war, the race today, online or even offline, is to acquire customers quickly, get them through the sales process, and get them to the last sale is actually buying from you.
And how much are listeners going to engage in this lead generation process? How much time will it take every day or every week?
Now, again, this depends on how complex you want it to be. I suggest for anybody starting to make it very, very easy as possible. Start collecting leads. That's the first thing. Now, even if it's a simple exercise in getting someone to take a phone number and a name, this will be an everyday activity until it gets repetitive, where you just wake up every morning and you're in the business, someone calls, your first thing is to say, let me collect some information from that particular person. Majority of people fail to do this. They get a phone call, somebody asks a few questions, and they probably forget their name. So most importantly is that you spend some time collecting information from people. It won't take too long. And those who are already within the collecting information, this particular series will help you to collect more information and automate it in a way to speed up the way of collecting the information you do presently have. So it won't take that long, and it shouldn't do, because it's something that you should be taking on as a habit. And once you do, the process will be very, very simple to do each and every day, and you should be in the back of your head because you understand why is it so important to collect a lead at the early stage in your business.
Tell our listeners about the goal that we'll achieve with lead generation.
Some of the goals in lead generation, the goals that you'll be collecting, you'll really be developing strategies. And that's a big, very, very big goal indeed. To learn different types of strategies and, again, customer behavior. The reason why one is a big goal, because this will generate more sales. Leads equals sales. And this is what you need to be thinking about. No leads, guess what, or no customers, you will have no sales at all. It makes pretty sense. So if you think about every lead as a prospective sale, you can start to generate a pattern and also a endpoint for what you have. And you can have an average idea on how many leads that you need to generate to make sales, or to make break even. So this is a clear indication on how your business is going to unfold. And it'll make it very, very easy to understand how your business is going to shape over a period of time. So these are the advantages you can have in lead generation. Some people don't have this advantage because they don't have the leads. They don't have enough to go by. And they are not doing any sort of analytical thinking on how this lead generation process works.
Can you give an example from your experience of how important lead generation really is?
Well, this is something I always do all the time. Now, for setting up small businesses or small campaigns, I can make a prediction straight away. How much is the cost of the product or the cost of the service, or how many leads do I need to actually generate very, very quickly? Now, to doing this at an early stage, I can say what leads type of source I would need to use. Take, for example, if I need to sign up with a Google paid traffic campaign, so to speak, called it PPC, that I would know how much it's going to cost. In way back in the future, in the past, it was a situation you had to buy into a service and you would be guessing. Now, doing lead generation has helped me in many multiple campaigns solve the problem of the initial starting point. How much do I need to get going? Yeah, what is it that I do need out of this campaign, and where are the people that do I need? So this lead generation process at the start can help you shape your campaign. And it has helped me personally in a number of things and stopped me wasting a lot of time getting the wrong type of person to the wrong type of product.
Great, thank you. So we will be doing a 4-week series in this webinar. Each week we'll talk about something else on lead generation. And what content will we be covering?
The content itself, from top to bottom, I have researched from different sources, different ideas, and again, you've got my sort of 25 years worth of experience here in these series. Definitely packed with information. Obviously, we'll start talking about lead generation, why we need it, different types of models, then swiftly moving into researching leads. Now, this is a key area, and I honestly say to everybody, do not skim on this. Listen to this over and over and over again when we go through this, and I will cover certain things that needed to be done within your business. If you're starting, if it's small, again, if you've got somebody who doesn't know about lead generation, just take a listen. Get yourself involved. The researching of the 7 P's in marketing is one topic that we'll be talking about, why it's important. Don't go too deep into marketing itself, but this is a key area that someone should be listening to. Choosing your targeted audience, that's another area that we'll be looking at. Demographics, social graphics, we've talked about this, but this is something we need to understand, and it's just the preliminaries here of researching leads and going into that area. Moving on from there, we'll go into the lead collection process. How the steps unfold from start to finish. Just to give you a summary here, an offer. What is one, and why do we give somebody an offer? We've got what we call CTAs, this is a call to action. These are marketing terms, but again, this is a summary of what we're talking about, and we go into the landing pages and also forms. So you probably have heard some of these terms out there in the internet world. We will go into greater depth on why they need to be precise and what you need to be doing. We'll talk about, again, what types of information to be collected. Thinking about that. Now, that's another area many people fail to recognize, and they go off into too much information and they lose the actual lead itself because they've asked into too much information too soon. So if you're ever wondering what to ask and how to collect leads, this is another area that's key. And then we're moving to what type of tools do you need? Developing that magical toolbox and that one size-fits-all situation, this will be the one. Having all the tools in one box where you can access them and giving you all the advice you need in that area. If you're using some tools at the moment, how to use them really effectively within your business. That's something that many people don't have the right toolbox. They've got a lot of things scattered all over the place. And you can imagine like it's, again, a car body shop, too many tools. Yeah, guess what? You'll be lost. And if you can have that one magical tool that can actually solve things, this would be the one to listen to. And at the end, obviously, we'll give you some follow-up tips for how to follow up with your leads and why you should do this and why it's very, very, very beneficial. Going into some real tricks and tips that I use personally today, right now, that you could apply for the next 24 hours. So you can see we've got a number of things that we could cover over this particular course of this session, and there's lots that you really need to take involved. This is really, really essential, and this is just a summary of the starting of something brand new.
So how will these topics be distributed over the weeks? Is there a certain setup to how to do it correctly?
Well, within each particular webinar itself, we'll take you through a step-by-step process. Yeah, we'll just go over some few critical things that you need to do. Yeah, I would suggest you get your team or the people that you're associated with, working with in your environment all together, and take a listen for each particular webinar that we do have. Yeah, because there'll be a lot of information that's simple to exercise, simple to execute, say. Now, I would suggest just really take good notes here, I mean, in this situation, and to, cross-reference different ideas. I mean, as I said, I think we'll be here to help you as much as possible in each way. So I think it won't be too difficult, and there isn't really too much of a stringent strategy to put together here. But the most objective here is to start collecting leads in a way that is very, very easy. And there will be some simple steps here by going off to what we call autoresponders and just collecting leads from there and understanding the research process.
Yeah, so what highlights can our listeners expect from each of the webinars?
Most importantly, the highlights will be that you're going to get some really, really, really interesting moments. What we call aha moments. Now, when I say aha moments, well, I'll probably ask you a question, and you'll realize why and when you've been sold to, and why things are in specific ways. Now, you'll be surprised. We'll probably mention something in one of the one of the actual webinars we do about how you go about your average daily life and why things are in different colors. Now, you're probably, what's it got to do with leads? Now, there are certain things that you can say to people that make them do certain actions. Now, if that is the way you can actually persuade people to do things, you can imagine what that can be done. Now, no, we're not talking about NLP or any sort of focus tricks, but the most importantly, we're talking about strategies, and these are the highlights and the key things that you can do in your business today that can bring in more people and give you more customer acquisition and beat your competition.
So how many different strategies are we going to go over in the webinar?
There's different types of strategies. Not all the strategies will unfold for everybody. There's so many that I really, really can't put a number to. But once you get the basic understanding of some of the strategies that I'm going to have so many basic ones, but that really, really, really that you can apply. And that's what we'll intend to do. Just give you some basic information to start with, and you can start to imply some of the more complex strategies yourself. So the most important thing, we can say a lot of things here, but you've got to implement them. And that is the key here. And if you can implement the very basic strategies that we give you, that's the starting point. And then you can take that, and throughout the actual webinars that we do provide, you will be surprised how many strategies that we've actually put to you down on a piece of paper.
Okay, excellent. So what can our listeners expect to gain from these webinars?
To gain from the webinars, again, this is that Paradise box. We're giving so much information here. So what you could gain here as a business, medium and large or small business owners, is to understand how marketers today use lead generation as a way of really developing new business, or even the starting point. So again, if you haven't really done marketing before in the past, this is a good way to start. Understanding what is lead generation, why is it so effective? Now, why should you implement it into your business today, and where you should be going into the future? What you could gain here is beating your competition. How about that? Very, very easy. Starting online. If you haven't thought about doing lead generation online, here is the actual starting point. This will actually explain the basic fundamentals, what tools you should have, where to go next, and why. Who is your actual go-to person? These commonly asked questions will be explained in each of one of these webinars. It's simple. All the information will be here, tightly put together, and I will be here to help you with our colleagues to give you that reassurance that you will now move ahead in this whole sort of internet web affair of information. So you'll be definitely gathering good information from us.
Could you give an example of how lead generation works for one of the large companies?
Well, for one of the large companies out there, I was quoted NEC as an example. It's somewhere where we can also cut down doing multiple research testing. It's an average idea where, again, using lead generation has increased a lot of sales. Now, one of the another study that was actually given out there where they use a particular software package, and this is what we call a CRM. Now, that enabled the actual company to increase more leads using the CRM system. And again, ignore the technical talk there, because it's just a software package that allows you to do things very, very quickly. Now, doing this where they used to do it with the paperless office, you can imagine with lots of paper when things get lost and you've got to run around and find things. They had a CRM system that helped the actual business move more into a robust infrastructure and targeted offers. So they gave them the information to have all this data very, very quickly on hand, which helped the business really move into the information technology sector. So if this is the type of sort of way people are doing things in the past, businesses like this, now are moving into the technology area, using the lead generation system to do more things effectively, increasing volumes very, very quickly, even over a period of time that's never even recorded before. So businesses out there, this one in particular, use the lead generation situation versus the old methods, fine-tuning quality leads and also scoring big high returns within the environment. And that's what companies want. They want a very, very quick ROI quickly and to see where things are going.
Thank you. Now, throughout the webinar, will you also be sharing recommendations of services and providers that our listeners can use if they need some extra help?
Certainly. This is one of the key goals I personally would recommend in some areas that, again, the tips I use, and definitely going into some things that not many people would share with you. And that is, my personal touch towards the listeners out there, that you need some good tools here and good recommendation of places where you can go and see what's happening. Even if it's the basic tools, I will recommend it to certain things, what to do, what to look out for in different areas. That's another added bonus. We'll definitely want to add for you, because I don't normally share these secrets to a lot of people, and you definitely come to the right place to get the information you need to get you going in the places that no other person's been before. And it won't be, again, something hard to reach and to do. It's very, very simple, and I guarantee you want to get going right now with all these information. But I would say, just wait to the end, and we've got something special for you.
Yes. So what else will we be learning in this webinar?
Most importantly is just some basic practices, and this is something that basic and best to say practices that some people fail to address. So these practices, they need to be brought to attention, because this will help you get along and get to the next stage when you're going to do your lead generation. Once you've got the basic outlines of certain things, you'll get going, up and running, and then you can apply these basic common practices, or even some, little tricks I do share along the way, because that will help you understand what is really happening. Another thing that they will actually learn is understanding market research and marketing 101. So if you haven't done marketing before, or you just want to get into lead generation, again, this will be an area that you could learn something new, and understanding how people think, and how to sort of build a relationship with a person. You probably build a relationship with the lead, but these are your customers. So we'll be going through some of these things from top to bottom, so you can understand how it unfolds and how it will make your business more effective.
And what types of businesses can benefit from our webinar?
We don't discriminate anyone. Small businesses, large businesses, it doesn't really matter. It's something that a business should address. Lead generation is here to stay, and it's increasingly moving very, very fast down the chain here. So no matter how big or small your business is, if you're a solo trader, again, if you're a joint partner, I suggest you should get involved here. You shouldn't, definitely miss past this one, because there are information, and this is the starting point of generating new business. So regardless of what business size you are, definitely take a listen, and definitely keep involved with the show.
Okay. Is there anything that you advise our listeners to study and get ready for before our first webinar, or are we really going to start it from the basics?
We're going to start with the basics. This is what we always do. We'll make it as easy as possible for people to follow. One thing I do address to everybody: take good notes. Yeah, get yourself prepared. Stay clear of any distractions, because we're going to go over some things that are really important that personally I would like you to write down. And it will help you along the way. The notes will tell you what to do and how to execute them. So you can go back over them with what we said, and if we can reveal any secrets that need to be addressed, or you can go out to the website and get some information, that's where you should be looking right now. That's one of the points that I definitely want to stress for people. Take good notes, because we're going to reveal some secrets.
Yes, and what else do you suggest for our listeners to do to get the most out of this webinar?
Follow each step carefully, one by one, going through each particular one of them, and going over them. Repetition is the most important thing. Set some goals and deadlines here. So if we tell you to go do some research for a day or so, and come back, go out, do some research. Give it a try. It's not going to hurt because it's only time you're losing here. And we don't want you to spend so much time on it. But the most important thing, the information that we give you here is priceless. And all you've got to do is try and execute it so if you can make some good results here. And we're going to teach you things in how where you can do research on certain products and services where you can get the best from it. And this is going to help you as a business owner. Majority of people fail to do good research and they get the wrong results. We, on the other hand, are going to do the opposite. We're going to do some research and get some good results, giving you some of the tools that nobody else has been used before, and showing you some strategic strategies that can help you to look at research data and understand what is going on, and even reinvent the wheel and see how your competitors are doing it, and understand what you could do just by looking at your competitors and seeing what they are doing. Now, how's that? In times like this where you can be paying lots of money to find out research data when you can find it in real time over a period of about 4 to 5 days.
Okay, and what will our listeners be able to do with the tips and tools that we provide?
So, what would you be able to do with this? The world is your oyster here. In lead generation, you could use all the information and even start a new business with. You may even want to start a lead generation company. I don't know. But the information that we do give out, it's going to be so condensed and precise. You can do lots more with that. You can paint a picture of your business, seeing how people interact with your whole business itself, whereby, again, you'll be able to even start with your own funnel, knowing that a customer does buy in a certain way. You can see patterns, trends, those type of things that are common to your business. Once you can identify this, not even on a graphical form, on a time basis. Now, this is very, very interesting. I mean, I'm not going to go into, I'm going to hold back on some of the secrets we provide here, because seeing this in a graphical form, our mind can see this and we can now act quickly, understanding what is our business doing, and we can generate reports on this. Seeing when clients actually do things on a particular day and why they do it. Asking the ways clients and also customers ask questions about your business. Now, these are the types of things you need to know quickly. If you today want your business to be successful and to be something profitable in years to come, as times are very, very difficult, we need to see things very, very quickly, and time is on us. So we will definitely just demonstrate lots of ways of doing this and just different types of strategies, and this will benefit your business 10 or 20-fold.
So let's just go over this again just so it's clear. Why lead generation?
Why lead generation? Speed, time, most costly. If everybody else is using it, you should be using it as well. Don't get left in the rat race. It's very, very profitable, and it's a very, very good exercise to get your business moving in today's tough times.
So we will be dividing the content to 4 webinars. And what will our listeners be able to do between each webinar?
Between each webinar, again, we'll give you enough information to start to work with, and an exercise where you can go out and get your business moving in that lead generation way. So what we intend to do is expose you and your business into lead generation and why is it profitable. And again, giving you some insights why some of these large companies are doing this. So given a week or so, you should be able to start your own lead generation campaign. You should be able to maintain your own lead generation campaign. Research other campaigns. Research your competitors, as we said before, and what they do. and how you can actually use that information in years to come, and how to use today. So there is a lot you can do between each webinar that we do hold. Most importantly, then it should be a situation you'll be able to execute something simple and something small. Yeah, we're not expecting you to do everything because obviously you're running your business, but the most important thing within the weeks that we do run these webinars, you'll be able to take 10 to 20% of what we say, yeah, and do an exercise within your business.
So you suggest doing something every week, not waiting for the end of the webinar. It's important to apply the tools when you learn them, when it's all fresh.
Of course, if you can do so, or plan it out, or stagnate certain steps, because the information that we do give you will give you enough just for that particular week, or even beyond. So once you take your notes and say, okay, I'm going to start this, and take, for example, you may want to start with research. Yeah, how to do your research, or what to look for, and why. So that will give you enough time to get in, have a look at things strategically, even play back the webinar itself, and to try and work out, understand what we're talking about here. Because everything is interlinked, and everything will come together at the end of the whole process. If you're unsure, feel free to ask or network with people that are in exactly the group and that are doing exactly the same thing. Remember, we're here to help. That's one thing. Yeah, we'll be able to help you and assist you in certain areas that you need. So throughout that week duration, as it's clearly said, don't wait. Make it happen. Get in there, listen back, take whatever notes that you've got, and within the webinar itself, the information that we've given you, act on it as quick as possible. Yep. And do as much as you can to get the results you need.
And how quick do you get results? Will you see profits straight away?
I don't advocate money myself when it comes to profit. Now, because we don't know what you're doing. Yeah, and some people may look at money in different ways, and they may start to use money in the most absurd way. And if you do start to make profits, and as I said, as a business owner, you've got to obviously try and channel that into places where it makes the most itself. One tip I will say, obviously, in this situation of lead generation, you apply that back to lead generation because that started. So it's a situation, if you're talking about money straight away, it's not going to happen overnight. I'm not going to be serious with you with that. Because if you are the sort of entrepreneur, the person that you can take something and understand where it's going to make money, it may apply. But for the average person who hasn't done this before, this is one component of many that you need to understand. It is a driving force of the business because it's 80% of what you're doing is marketing. But again, if you go out and spend frivolously within your business, obviously it will go downhill. It makes sense. But I assume everybody here is an entrepreneur. So they understand business terms and who wants. For those who haven't been into the situation where money's rolling and everything is good, I suggest to start to understand money in, money out. So wherever you make money, you've got to inject it back into business and then again to get yourself paid. Now, and if you're trying to pay yourself first, this is where the problem will start. But we're not here to talk about money, we're talking about lead generation, but those are the tips I'll give you. So, okay, let's be quite apparent about money.
So how will lead generation affect your sales?
Affecting the sale, again, lead generation is very, very important here, and it will definitely can affect your sales performance. Because if you think about lead generation is the first part of the sales process. If you have this right, where again leads come into a systematic way within the business, it can actually increases anything to 20 to 30 to 40 to even more than 60%. Having a systematic way of people engaging with you, understanding the business, sales will increase. As we all know, birds of a feather flock together. Meaning that people will talk more about your business. So that will attract more people, so affecting the sales. Once you've got a systematic way of understanding why people buy, then you can increase this, and what they say in today's world is, again, you can scale it. So that, again, will increase the sales volume of people. Now, if we think about this really, really logically, yeah, in majority, again, 90% of your doing is going to be selling, and we do need to be focusing on that sales funnel. And that's where, again, where you will be more, you'll be able to now outrun your competitors in this particular way.
Okay, and thank you. How will our listeners ensure that they're applying correctly what they're learning on our course?
Now, when you've got this within the course itself, they will see small or even major changes. Now, what you will see here is you may even see a difference in customers. And if that's what you're looking for in lead generation, that is excellent. You'll see you developing a more systematic way of doing things. Rather getting up and just doing the mundane tasks and things, you realize you wake up and say, okay, I have to generate some leads. Now, this is more important. Again, you have a structure, and this is what you will see, and this is what you will develop from here. Most of the webinars we do here will get you in a structured, organized way, in a pattern of doing things. It may sound repetitive, but this is the way that within these webinars we'll put together that sort of way of doing things. And that's how your business should run, in a structured way, not haphazardly, but things are all over the place. We'll give you ways and strategies where some of the common businesses are doing today. And that's something good to actually to understand, and that's something to look forward to.
Maybe could you please go over some basic terms that we will be using in the webinar and explain them?
Okay, yes, sure. One of the areas that we'll be talking is CTA, call to action. This is a marketing term. Again, you could look this up, and if you really want to take through it for this little guide and summary, that's one of the areas that we'll be looking at, the call to action, because it's quite important to understand what is it and what does it do, and how can it affect the lead generation process. Funnels, lead funnels. If you can imagine the funnel itself, I'm not going to go too deep into it and what it does. So that's a term that's commonly used in lead generation. Understanding the funnel and developing the funnel, and something that we'll be probably showing you within the webinars, how to get your funnel going and what to do and how to follow it up. That's another term that we'll be using. Landing pages. Now, this is, again, a sort of marketing internet term that commonly people use. They come in all different forms and shapes and sizes. It's also known as what we call an opt-in, and also a squeeze page. All different types of terms doing the actual same thing all the time. So again, these terminologies in the day that people use out here, is not to worry too much about it, but as long as you have a basic understand of these sort of things. If you're not familiar with marketing, direct mail, or again, opt-ins and capture forms, so to be it, not to worry. We'll go over these things in greater depth to make sure you understand some of the ways we do things here. Things like pre-qualification. Why do we do it? Why do we want to pre-qualify certain people to be on your campaigns? This again, you may want to do is make sure that person is actually ready to do the action you're telling them to do. One of the things we do also go to lightly is the 7 P's in marketing. This is something that you could look up beforehand and get yourself ready to understand this, and why it's important for you to understand these sort of things. So relationship building. We've probably talked about this before, but again, this is another area. This is something new into marketing that many people do not discuss, and It's something new in marketing today, building relationships. So you've got some really hot topics that we'll be discussing within here. There are some tracking reports, some reportings that they need to be spoken about. We do talk about some technical stuff, not something that you cannot reach, and you probably heard of Google Analytics and what it does within here. There are some other things that we talk about, CRMs, there's content management stuff, and there's other sort of PPC sort of stuff we talk about, which are just of ways of driving traffic. And this is a quotable term, how we can actually shift people from one area to another area. That's driving traffic. So there are some terms in here that we talk about, not too deep and complex, but not to worry. Most importantly is that you understand the very, very strategies that I use today that make some sense and can get you to where you need to be in the next few weeks or so.
So do you suggest that our listeners use different services and providers for the different stages that we'll be going through? Or will we be giving basic tools that anyone can apply?
First of all, we're trying to gather a big scope here where some of the basic tools will apply. And those of you who are not familiar, use some of the basic tools first. This is your starting point. Start with the basic tool first, outrun it, and then you'll be able to grow to some of the larger tools that people use. Take, for example, quoting autoresponders, and that's another technical word where you'll be able to manage your particular list here. So everybody should have one. That is one of the keys. Now, if you want to expand on these particular large products, you can do so. But start with something you can manage. Because, take it, some of you are entrepreneurs and you're single, and you want to be in a place where you can actually either build a system where you can actually deploy it to give somebody else they can manage. So these are the type of things that we do discuss and how to really make them more effective within your business. So there are lots of tools that we do have. Not again, they are sort of dedicated to many people, depending how big of your business is. So this is something that you've got to decide. Are you going to be doing this, and is it suitable for you? So, but within these particular webinars, as I said before, there's enough information for you to make a clear-cut decision in what you have to do.
So if some of our listeners choose to use some providers for different stages, what questions should they ask when they're talking to them? How can they choose them?
Well, I think we've done most of the actual Q&As here. If we recommend them, we've tried to test them and whatever it may be. We wouldn't recommend you going out of the scope. Because, yes, you can understand if you're going to ask all these questions, it's time. But you can ask some questions if you really wanted to say, okay, why do you think this particular thing is for them? Because their objective is to sell you anything, and they will do. That's one thing that you've got to be careful when you're asking questions that you're unsure about. You've got to have somebody who understands that technology. We've done all the hard, fast searching for you. And we understand what works and what doesn't. But so just to be careful, if you're going to go out, we've got something in place at the present moment that you think you want to use for these types of services. If they do, you may have some bit of limitations in what we want to do, and we don't want to be talking about something whereby you've got limitations. We've actually named some companies here that are reputable. I suggest personally they are sufficient for majority of people and small businesses out there, and they have the support. And this is one of the things that you should also be asking yourself in a business. How much support do these people offer? When you actually call them up on the phone, are they there? That's most important thing. Because nobody wants a business or service where you can't call upon in the middle of the night if you've got a problem. We've all been there. And I think, this is something that we do discuss where it's, okay, we've done all the homework and say, okay, if you call them, they're there, they're around, and they'll be able to support you. And that's one question you should ask. What is support hours and when will they respond to you? So this is something, a very, very good question there to ask. What questions do you ask? Ask that, what's the support hours? Yeah, because the majority of some people don't give you the support that you need. And in the times like this, you need somebody to give you the holding hand. Of course, we're here to help you all the time with that kind of support.
Thank you. And do you have suggestions as to where people can find some information if they're looking online? Are there good lead generation sites or marketing sites where they could find some information?
Now, this is a big question. There are so much information. We're going to be covering lots of things here about different sites and where things are. There are some places where you can get some information for lead generation. I would suggest you start with just Googling some basic areas. We could use one as HubSpot. That's a particular site where you can actually look up some white papers and different types of information. There is marketing.com, marketing-results, and that's in every good place to actually look for some information. Again, you can also look at My Business magazines and some of the actual top business pages where you can actually find some marketing experiments as well. Now, there are a lot of information out here. And we're not expecting you to go and sift through the actual information out there, but to take about 10 to 20% of it, because then you can apply that to your business. There are different sources that we are actually going to quote in the webinars we'll be holding. So just take some of those in, because our objective is to try and get you up as quick as possible, not to start to where you're going to challenge the information. And if you do so, you realize that you'll be going into different areas of where that you shouldn't be doing. So I would say not to take in too much overload within this series, because there's lots of information and we want to make sure that we get you going as quick as possible.
Thank you. And here's a question that many people ask. How much does lead generation cost?
Well, that is a very, very good question to ask. So in the base of the summary, yes, there is a price to it that really you can say. It's just really to how much you're really willing to put in. I would say it's 80% of what you're trying to do. This is the starting point. Now, I could say let's start with a budget of $100 to start off with. This is to start with. It's not to maintain, because your objective will be to increase that 100. And again, we'll explain that within the series here, why you started with a small budget just to test, and then to increase it, whereby your marketing and budget will be sort of oblivion, where it should be increasing all the time. And this is why many businesses, and I'll probably quote this again in the series, many businesses focus heavily on marketing. So there isn't a fixed price. Yeah, they will pump as much as possible back, because it's in every equation here: money in, money out. So if you pump more money into the situation, start off something small, 100, whatever it may be, test it out. If it works, add more money to it. So there isn't really a starting point, depending on your business structure itself and how much you're willing to invest. Invest as much as possible into your marketing budget to get the ultimate out of it. That's what I say.
Yes, okay. So what can our listeners do today to start not implementing the lead generation yet, but setting up the process?
First of all, be patient and wait, because we've got lots and lots of information here. To start, you could do some just preliminary research on lead generation and what it is all about. If you're unfamiliar with the process, have a little scour around the internet, just understanding what lead generation is and why is it really effective. because we've got a lot of information to actually tell you over this series of these webinars coming now. And as I said before, we don't really want to confuse you too much, because understanding what the flow is and why it is so important. And this is what we're here to tell you about. Why is lead generation important in your business today? There are, again, as I said, there's lots of information out there where you can get and implement and things like that. But I wouldn't say let's go out and start going to do things right now, because we need to understand the source and how it all works. And that's what we need to do. Understand how lead generation works, and this is what we're going to tell you. Why is it effective in your business today? Why you should be using it? Yeah. How much do you invest in it? How much time? Yeah. Literally, how really you must start to put this into your business. So I think the first thing to really is set enough time aside and prepare yourself where you're going to be doing this as a daily exercise, and get your mindset right first, where you're going to wake up every morning understanding I'm going to get a lead and start to ask questions to people. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. Excellent. So let's just go over the signing up process to our webinar. If you could just go over that, have everything clear on how to sign up, please.
Oh, that magical sign-up process that you're talking about here. Now, if you can see below on the screen, there is a link there where you can get to our magical sign-up process. Now, click on it. Don't do it now. Only do it at the end of this summary. Yeah, this webinar here. This will take you to the area with all the information that you need to know to sign up with. So, at the end of this presentation, take your time, just know it's there, click on it and observe all the information on the screen, and it will take you to all what needs to be known about lead generation.
Yeah, so it really is simple. To get started, you just click here below on the screen, and it's all very straightforward. If you have any trouble doing that or questions, you just ask us. And also throughout the webinar, if you have any questions, you just contact us, and we'll help you with anything. That's what we're here for. We're here throughout the whole process, and we really want you to get great value and have all your questions answered. So when you sign up, you'll see everything, all the information, including the webinars, some Q&A, exercises, and everything that you'll need. It's a quick and easy sign-up process. Also, I just wanted to thank you all for being here and listening. I know it's late for some of you, but I really hope you got lots of benefit from today. It's important for us to give you a lot of value, and in the weekly webinars, you'll receive even more in depth. So really go into the link and sign up. We have a limited amount of places available, so don't leave it to the last minute. Now we're going to finish the webinar, and you'll have a chance to do that. And I see some people are asking about the signing up process, so it really is very simple. You just click on the link and get started with your lead generation campaign today. I really want to thank all of you again for being here. It was great having so many people here today, and we hope you enjoyed it too. For us, it was amazing. And I want to wish you all a good rest of the day, and really, we're here to help you with your process, so don't feel shy to ask any questions, and we will do our best to help. So thank you again, everyone, and see you next time for our first segment, where we will start the step-by-step process of lead generation.